Welcome back to Newsday. Joining me live in the studio is Liberal Senator Sarah Henderson, former education spokesperson. Thanks for your time. I mentioned the education spokesperson because you have released a proposal today. Can you explain to our viewers what you're suggesting? It's basically to cap the increase in student debt.
That's right. Great to join you, Kieran. This is a proposal for a HECS loan inflation guarantee. So effectively saying that HECS should not be above 3% indexation. We've seen student debt completely run out of control under Labor. It's been an absolute fiasco, which is why they brought forward their student debt discount. At one stage, it was close to 16% increase, and even after the change in indexation, it's still 14.3% up since Labor was elected. So this is a really responsible policy, but it's saying that Australian tertiary students should not pay the price for Labor's inability to control inflation.
And are you saying you support the bill? You're arguing that the Coalition should support Labor's reduction, but on top of that, amendment?
I don't think we should oppose the bills. I've made that very clear, but I think we should amend the way HECS indexation is calculated so that every young Australian signing up for a HECS debt or another sort of help loan knows that indexation will not be above 3% each year.
And are you getting some positive responses from internally?
Kieran, I have, and I've had some. I mean, I proposed this a number of months ago, and of course I did actually proposed this in the lead up to the last election. It was left on the cutting room floor, which was a bit. There were just decisions made, and that was, I think, regrettable. So I've been talking to my colleagues. I've received a very positive response. So I'm hoping that we'll go through our ordinary party room processes, but I'm very much hoping that this amendment will get the support not just of the Coalition, but also of the Parliament.
Are you, by going outside of the party room process, you know, in the newspaper, with me now, doing it publicly, is this an approach you're going to take more often? Well, why are you doing it outside of the party room process? Not that I argue with that. As a journalist, we welcome it. Good on you for doing it publicly, but I guess the powers that be would say, why don't you do it through the backbench process?
Well, I am doing it through the backbench process, but one of the important things that we're all united on is holding the government to account and fighting for better outcomes for Australians every single day. So I've been, you know, obviously as the former education spokesperson, been very prominent in fighting for better education policies. As a Liberal backbencher, I committed to do that, and this is all part of my mission to ensure that every young Australian can achieve his or her best potential with the best possible education policies.
And do you think the government might be open to this? They would say that they're delivering on their mandate. They won the mandate at the election, quite a big, clear one.
Well, I'm
Why
not debating.
Be allowed to just deliver that?
Well, I'm not debating that, but I think there's an opportunity for the government to adopt this method of HECS indexation, which essentially says to all Australians, if you sign up for a HECS debt, if CPI is, say, 2.2%, you will pay 2.2% only, but if CPI...
But it won't blow out.
That's exactly, it won't blow out. If CPI is 4% or 7%, young Australians will not pay the price and will pay the maximum of 3%.
And if you've got to make the case publicly, you'll do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's your message?
But I've worked very closely with my colleagues. I'm talking to them, and as I say, this will go through the ordinary party room processes, but we're all working very hard together in a very united team to advocate for better policy, and I'm obviously out of the blocks.
Well, you must have been frustrated that it wasn't taken up before the election, given you had this idea. Would have probably been palatable, welcomed by a lot of younger voters.
Well, I am, and I was very disappointed, but the ship has sailed on that, and now I'm moving forward and fighting for really good policy, holding this terrible government to account and making sure that we are standing up, particularly for young Australians.
Pauline Hanson's moving a matter of urgency this afternoon on net zero. She wants it gone. She says she wants to put pressure on coalition senators to back her. What's your position on that? Will you support that, the scrapping of net zero?
Well, we've made it very clear that we are very concerned about Labor's reckless renewables policy, which I think is driving this country off a cliff. We are concerned about reliable, affordable energy, which of course is no longer the case under this government, but we are also concerned about reducing emissions. We have announced a really important process, Kieran, where we will be going through all of the consultation internally and then reaching a position.
So you won't be pressured into supporting the scrapping of net zero?
At this stage, I am working very closely with my colleagues on net zero. I do have substantial concerns. There's no doubt about it. Look what is happening in regional Victoria. Regional
so you're open to it, but you want to go through the process.
I want to see the
it.
process progress before I make my position public, and I think that's the right thing to do.
But it sounds like given your doubts about it, you're leaning towards.
I'm very concerned. And if you look at the Western Renewables link that's running through Western Victoria, what an absolute joke. I mean, farmers' lives are being ruined because of what Labor is doing, both federally and at a state level. But as I say, all Australians deserve cheaper, more reliable energy, and we are not getting that under Labor, and that must change.
Sarah Henderson, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kieran.